One side we won't be watching in the Club World Cup anymore is Inter Miami. They are out after getting beat 4-0 by PSG. PSG scoring all those 4 goals in the first 45 minutes. And these are the stats that we can bring you on the MLS side. Held without a shot in the first half of a match for the first time since 2023. First touch in the attacking penalty area came in the 49th minute, first shot in the 51st, and first shot on goal not until past the hour mark, the 63rd minute. So let's get some reaction from the Inter Miami camp.
Creo que hemos competido bien, sinceramente por encima de las expectativas que tenía la gente. A mi entender hemos sido mejores en los 3 partidos de grupo, a todos los rivales, y luego hoy obviamente estábamos contra el mejor equipo del mundo ahora mismo que practica el fútbol y era difícil, ¿no? Pero pese a ello creo que hemos competido la primera parte, sobre todo también la segunda, que hemos tenido pues más control del partido, hemos tenido más llegadas, le hemos creado muchos más problemas al PSG, pero nada que reprochar, ¿no? Y al final pues las reglas son las reglas en la MLS.
En conclusión, orgulloso de lo que han hecho o lo que ha hecho este grupo de jugadores, y nada, de ahora en adelante mirar hacia el futuro y ver si logramos rentabilizar toda esta experiencia, como hablábamos quizás un poco ayer, para lo que son las competiciones más domésticas nuestras y más normales, y donde nosotros quizás las expectativas son otras.
Frank's still with us, Alexis Nunes with us as well. Alexis was at the game, but let me just get some reaction from you, if I can, Craig. The feeling from the Inter Miami camp is that they're proud of what they've achieved here.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that, because they were competitive in this group stage. They just got a hammering in today's game, but for PSG making changes and taking the foot off the gas, they could have run the tables. That's sort of where they are, and they have not disgraced themselves. But what they don't need to do is come out and make excuses about. And Jordi Alba was talking about the rules of MLS, and as if when he arrived here he didn't know what the rules of MLS, or he should have done what the rules and regulations about signing players and salary caps and whatnot. And then Mascherano or Inter Miami talking about, well, you know, we're in the top 16 clubs in the world. I mean, statements like that make a mockery. You know, Auckland City are in the tournament. There's 32 teams. Auckland City, are they the 32nd best team in the world? Barcelona are not here. Liverpool are not here. Half of Spain's not here. Half of Italy's not here. Half of England. Half of Germany. So it just makes a mockery. Again, it's this necessity to try and push a narrative, rather than just say, you know, because we know that they're not in the top 50 teams in the world, probably, if we're being honest about it, whether they've got Lionel Messi or not. But just stop trying to push this narrative where, you know, people will be on the street going, hey, listen to what he said, we're in the top 16. You are not, and you are nowhere near it. But what you have done is at least, and by the way, you shouldn't have been in the competition in the first place. You're only in the competition because Lionel Messi is at Inter Miami. If Lionel Messi was not at Inter Miami, you'd be sitting on the sofa at home watching the damn thing. But at least they have made a decent fist of the group stages, which Seattle did not. They got hammered. And so that's one thing. But I think what they got today was a glimpse of what top team football is all about. And PSG are a team. They have marvellous individuals, but they're a very good team, which Luis Enrique has conjured up. And I think Inter Miami saw that in bucket loads today, that to get to that kind of level, or even close to that kind of level, they're a long, long way off.
Yeah, talking of the storylines coming out of the game, Alexis, something that I've seen more than once is those saying that it felt more like a pre-season friendly than a competitive match. You were there. How did you see it?
Yeah, you know, Kay, honestly, it didn't start like that, but the way the first half was going, I mean, Javier Mascherano said it in his post-match press conference, and he said that first half was a bloodbath. And then I remember I did predict 4-0 yesterday on the show, but the way things were going, especially when Inter Miami found themselves chasing the game already with just 6 minutes in on the clock, I remember thinking, ooh, this could get very ugly very, very quickly. And look, PSG could have scored more as well. Yes, we heard from Sergio Busquets talking about how how they took the game to them more, and they're quite proud of what they did in the second half. They obviously had no other choice but to try and get something out of the game. But I also think PSG making 6 changes. Yes, it was good to see Dembele, but we also know that he is just getting fit again and getting back into the game. I feel like they kind of switched off a little bit and let Inter Miami probably just have a go. They pretty much had already won the game by then. And honestly, I mean, Javier Mascherano said it perfectly. He said, look, now it is clear to see the difference between the two sides. It's obvious that there are oceans in between these two sides. And yesterday when we were talking to them, the whole vibe was to try and put out as much of a competitive game as they can. Because at the end of the day, they weren't naive. They knew 100% that this was PSG, the most informed and best team, not just in Europe, but in the world right now. And they knew that it was always going to be a tough ask for them. And you could even tell from Messi. Messi, we saw how frustrated he was in that last group game where they could have finished top against Palmeiras. He does not like to lose. This time, he was still all smiles at the end. He was saying hi to his older teammates. He was exchanging shirts. I think even he was resigned to the fact that they were simply no match for PSG today.
What do you want to say, Frank?
Oh, so many things. First, that when you are called Inter, it's not good to play against Paris Saint-Germain. That's the first thing.
It wasn't 5 though, hey, Frank.
Second, yeah. But, you know, I'm going to talk about it, you know, because there are much to say. What can I say? I think Porto didn't play it seriously. And that's not very nice to the competition, but you have the right to think that it's only a friendly game, that you have some friendly games that you're going to play. But it would have been a different story if Porto would have taken it seriously. After, I don't buy it, Mr. Jordi Alba. When you say second half we were better. No. Paris Saint-Germain didn't respect you. They stopped playing. Otherwise, it could have been a Bayern Munich-Auckland. It could have been a 10-0. You didn't touch the ball. They score 4 goals in the first half, and they stopped playing because that was already done. So I say like 2 days ago that it could be a slap in the face. Yeah, and you were there, Kay, in the studio. It was a slap in the face for the MLS. That's a wake-up call. If you want to be performant, you have to stop your rules if you want to evolve in the football competitions everywhere. So Paris Saint-Germain showed that the MLS is so far away from, as Alexis said, kind of an ocean between the two teams. But it's more than that. It's more than that. If Paris Saint-Germain would have played 100% for 90 minutes, it could have been awful for the MLS. So again, it's a wake-up call because a nation like United States cannot have kind of his best team, you know, being slapped in the face by Paris Saint-Germain.
So there's a bigger test.
But the thing is, I'm a little sick and tired of all this continuing trying to gauge yourself against other leagues and elite level leagues, because when you run your shop and the manner in which they do, and it's a closed shop, there's no promotion relegation, there's no pyramid system, you have caps, you have all these other things. There's no point in trying to gauge yourself by bringing in a couple of superstars to some of the teams. There's just not. So when you run the business the way you do, you have to accept that you're going to be where you are. You have to accept that. And there's no point continuing to fight this fight about we're going to be this and we're going to be that and we're going to be better than, because you're not, because you do it your way. And for Major League Soccer, the way they do it, they like that. And they're expanding and they get big stadiums and their stadiums are excellent and they get good crowds and all that. But this continue of trying to reach out to be in an argument to say, well, we could compete with the Premier League and we could compete with Germany and Italy. It just stop. You have decided to run the business for many, many years now the way you do it. And that's going to be successful for you, but that's going to leave you pigeonholed in this scenario that when these competitions come around, or, you know, the MLS All-Stars play one of the European, whatever it is, pre-season friendly, you're just going to leave yourself open. And we saw that, we've seen that with some Major League Soccer sides. We've seen it quite a lot in the CONCACAF Champions League for the most part, not all the time, but for the most part, the sort of Mexican teams are way stronger. So it's a kind of scenario that they're in, and I kind of get fed up just listening and hearing now to all this, but comparing yourselves. Just don't compare it. Accept what you are. You run your shop the way you do. The European and the other teams around the world run it their way, and they're better for the most part. And that's the end story here. These teams are just better, and you run your business the way you run your business. And until that changes, which is not going to for a long time, then nothing will change on the football field.
Yes, next up for PSG, it is Bayern though, Frank. That's a repeat of the 2020 Champions League final, but you think this is going to go PSG's way this time?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Bayern have been more solid than I expected. As I said before, when I was analyzing the game that they just had with Flamengo. But I don't see any team, or maybe Manchester City, maybe capable of competing with Paris Saint-Germain. I mean, the first half that they had against Inter, but also when they played against Atletico Madrid, showed me that when they won, keep the fourth gear, they're unbeatable. And Bayern Munich, yeah, we talked about the defense, the centre-backs, and blah, blah, blah. They're not ready, for me, to cope with Paris Saint-Germain. Now it's a football game, everything's possible. But if you ask me for a prediction, yeah, I see Paris Saint-Germain going through.